There we go. We're live.
There we go.
Excellent.
Yo.
Just give Billy a chance to do his thing and make sure he lets everyone know that we're on. Well, thanks for joining us so early as well. For like everyone watching this on the replay who gets to see this bit, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I'm normally up with kids and the wife and all that stuff, getting them ready to start the day. But no, it's good to be here. Billy Wiz is there, I can see.
Lee.
Yo. And I was thinking too, wick boards. I heard through the grapevine, are they still operating?
They didn't survive COVID, I'm afraid. I think
I heard.
Like,
maybe I should just not wear this anymore. This can be like a, it'll gain some value or something. Because
treasure. Yeah, I've still got mine just hanging up as well. It's a real shame because I've seen a few people like around the globe wearing their wick tops, and it's like, yeah, man, they didn't survive.
It's not good. I mean, he had such a good store, and I mean, it's a bit of a sad tale, isn't it? Where he got busted into, and all this stuff stolen, and then he got going again, and I think he lost his momentum, and yeah, it's not good. But I wish him well with whatever he gets up to. It's such a good concept.
I think he's gone back into his old business, so I think he'll be all right. But yeah,
what
like
was that?
you say, sad times, man. Sorry?
What was he doing beforehand?
Movie business, I think.
Okay.
So working in movies.
Wonder what type of movies.
The Hollywood stuff, I think.
Hollywood, okay.
Yeah.
I could see him doing a mix of stuff.
Normally I just do like introductions, but everyone here knows who you are.
They like it or they hate it. I'm not sure.
So you're known
well.
Sorry?
I mean well. Some people just don't. I rub people up the wrong tree sometimes.
I'm sure we've all had our fair share of oopses in the Eastgate scene.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
PewDiePie quote right there. Yeah.
So you're known for your live streams, your exploring, your involvement in the Eastgate scene. You run a digital agency as well, and you fit all this around a family. Like, how the hell do you manage juggle so many things?
The number one question I get asked is exactly that. How do I do it all? I think it's just time management. I really find that I don't really do any of this stuff while I'm working. So running an agency or any type of business takes a long time. And you've got to be in it. You've got to be focused. So I'm doing that from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6:30 at night, Monday to Friday. During a lunch break, which is normally half an hour to 45 minutes, I've already thought about it in the morning on the way to work. It's about a half-hour drive. I've thought about if there is a video I want to do during that lunch break. I've written notes in just my phone on the message app, what I want to cover. I've done the research. Like, for instance, at the moment, I'm doing a skateboard review today, and that is the Unlimited X Loaded, just doing an update on that one. And then there's the dot board transporter that I'm doing in a couple of days. And I've already written down exactly what I wanted to say and all that. So I can go out, shoot it, go for a ride, 45 minutes. I can get about 6-7K, something like that. Test the batteries out, see how fast we can go, that kind of thing. And then at night, get home at about 6:30 until about 8:30. Kids in bed, all fed. Wife's happy. She's asleep because she's had a huge day as well. And then I can spend a couple of hours just doing this kind of stuff, doing the explore edit or anything like that. And luckily on the weekend as well, maybe half a day on the weekend, I get to get out and do some exploring or do a live stream or whatever it is. So yeah, in that respect, I've got a wife that's pretty accommodating with my hobbies and interests. I think the fact that it makes money as well, she likes.
Okay, yep, fair enough.
Yep. And it's just the monetization. I'm not making hardly any money off, commission of boards or brand endorsements or nothing like that. It's just money, the monetization. The Rosie the Shark stuff that you may have seen, that's made the most money for us. Like they keep asking me to come back and do updates with them, and that's all cool. They just want people to keep going to see that shark and keep their business pumping. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. It's not a crazy formula or anything. It's just time management. It's really setting yourself in and being able to do at least 3 videos a week. It's a bit of a challenge. Do all the my edits. Yep.
I struggle with 1 video a week sometimes, and this is why I'm so fascinated with the way you're just on it, and you juggle so many things, and I just don't know how you manage to piece it all together. It's quite inspiring. It makes me feel quite lazy.
No, don't feel lazy. I know you've got a pretty full-on job as well for your normal gig, and you get out and you're doing a whole bunch of organising of those Carve UK rides, and even Lee saying as well, Jay wearing a Wick hoodie on a Carve UK stream. Is that meant to be a good or a bad thing?
I think it's probably not such a good thing, but
I can take it off. I can put something else on. Oh, I feel bad now. Oh, okay.
With the exploring stuff, Jay, is that something that came before eSkate, or did the eSkate stuff come first?
I think it was the exploring stuff that came first. I remember my first explore when I didn't actually have a skateboard, because normally I ride my board to the explores or have it there somewhere. So it was probably 2 or 3 months that I was doing the exploring stuff, and then I got the skateboard. I think I got the skateboard because not many people were doing reviews back then. This is when Evolve had the Gen 1 bamboo before they even got the carbon. And I was trying to get in touch with Evolve back then, because they were the local Australian company that I thought would probably want to do videos and things with a local guy as well. But I remember that Jeff back then was a different Jeff. He was like, no, you don't have the subscribers, and no, we're better than you, and all this kind of stuff, right? And now he's kind of changed a fair bit, and you can get him on the phone pretty quickly, and Maddie's a much better. Old Maddie was a little bit more pretentious. But no, they seem okay. But yeah, the abandoned stuff, it's fun. I don't really have to think too much about that. Just going with a camera, point and shoot. The eSkate stuff, you've really got to get your stats right, or else you get picked up on it. You got to make sure that you're wearing the right shoes, for instance. I get picked up on that so much for you're not wearing skate shoes, or you're wearing work shoes. You can't do an honest review in work shoes. And just like, hey, come on, I'm trying to do this in my in the time I've got. But it's fun. The abandoned stuff's good.
Excellent. We just got a hello from Nelson. I know you gave him a shout out the other day.
Oh, he must. What is he up to? Has he had his surgery yet? I think he was going in today or yesterday.
Not sure yet. I think it was today or tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck, mate.
So you've been doing reviews for quite a while. What was it that got you into eSkate scene originally?
I think the majority of people saw Casey Neistat running around on his boosted board.
Yeah. Okay.
That looks like a pretty cool way to travel. And it's fast and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I want to try that. And I looked into a boosted board, and to get one here in Australia, it was like $3,500. And I'm like, I'm not going to be doing that. And that's when I started looking on eBay, and I noticed that there was this one Evolve Gen 1 for $800. And I'm like, that seems pretty cool, because normally they're about $1,100 on their website. And looked at Evolve, and they seemed quite legitimate. It came with a warranty. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And got it, and it was pretty good. There was no dramas. And that's kind of how I got into that. And then I started just pointing and shooting with a Canon 60D back then. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the SD card I had wasn't a factor 10, which is capable of processing and 2 or 3 minutes. It would do 30 seconds at a time and then cut off, because the memory in it wasn't storing as quickly as I thought. And I had no idea. I'm like, there's something bloody wrong with this camera. So I would be like, okay, everybody, and I knew I had 30 seconds and it had cut. So yeah, it was a bit different back then. And then
it's quite ironic that so many of us got into eSkate from Casey, and Boosted is the company that's actually gone under.
Oh mate, yeah.
That's
so
quite
many
strange.
It's weird. Survival of the fittest and the leanest, I think. Evolve's still hanging around, because even though they've got their UK and USA outfits, I think they're independent of them. and I think they still try and keep everything quite lean, which is good. They've only got 30, 35 people, I think, on their books full time.
Yeah.
A business like Evolve, you would think would have hundreds of people working there and marketing departments and all that, but nah, it's just Maddie's the one, and there's another guy that does social media that helps out with that, and that's it. For running the three arms, it's pretty full on, and I think that's why they are able to do what they're doing. They're pretty lean, and they've got a particular model that seems to be working, and Boosted, and there was a whole bunch of them. There was that company, what was it? They had this board that you could just take the battery out, put it back in, and click it in. I've forgotten what they were called now. Let's run around on those, but yeah, a lot of them have come and gone, haven't they?
Yeah, it seems to. It seems to be getting better. I mean, like people who were like established, hopefully should stick around now.
Yeah, hopefully. I think Evolve will hang around. X-Way, I think, are doing good things. Even, what do you guys think about what FabTrav or Fubby's doing with his boards? He's got one coming to us at the moment, but he seems to be doing the right thing. He's keeping it lean. He's made a stack of how-to videos on how to swap out wheels and how to swap belts and all that stuff. Have you guys had much to do with that? You've had a look?
I keep every now and again checking out his board, because it's been sort of coming out for a while now, but now he's got to the stage where it's like, it's nearly here. So I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite interested, because I mean, he's another quite prominent e-skate YouTuber. I don't think he can put out a bad board. It just, the internet will not let him get away with that.
No, you'd hope so. I mean, he's come really from more of a skate background as well, where like traditional skateboarding, and I know a lot of people in his comments give him crap about that as well, like that, oh, you've gone to the e-skate world, and like everyone's got a problem with everyone. But you're right. I think because he's been reviewing for a while, he's got a very big fan base, big subscriber base. I think he'll do well. I think the first one he did, Fab Gold or whatever was the skateboard, and he had his signature on it, and I'm not sure how that went, but it seems like he's kind of grown up from that and evolved, and he's doing some cool things. Yeah.
Have you seen that new Flux board, Joe?
The which one, sorry?
The Flux board. I think it got released yesterday.
Flux
AT.
Flux. No, I'll have to look it up.
I can just throw it on the screen now. So it's a bit of a liqueur. So they were launching 6 early birds. Someone's obviously snapped one up. But it's looking pretty interesting.
The battery pack looks beefy, doesn't it, underneath?
I think it's 12S10p.
1210, yeah.
That's crazy.
Basically the same as the Lone Star.
Yeah, that's about the same price as an Evolve GT, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you put euros into pounds, it's about £1,600.
Okay, so it's an extra $400, but you're getting looks like some decent batteries. The trucks look pretty sweet too. Yeah,
it's not a bad little setup for the money. I think it's
battery, belt.
I'll be quite interested if you get your hands on it and take it for a little spin.
3,500 watt Matex. Jeez.
Yeah.
So that's over twice the amount of power than an Evolve GTR. Flipski remote. They've got all the right things in there, don't they?
Yeah, it does look good. Looks like they've put some thought into it.
Aluminium 68T sounds pretty good. Sounds like it's going to last quite a fair bit too. Who's behind it? Do you know?
Is it an e-skate shop that's put it together?
Okay.
I
think it's an e-skate shop in Belgium.
We've got a whole bunch of comments. I don't know if it's about this board, but they're all throwing up. That's B-boy stretch.
I think that's just Tom, because he likes liqueur.
All these liqueur fanboys.
There we go. Electric board solutions.
Electric board solutions. Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds like an IT crowd, doesn't it? With solutions in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've got one of our community guys come in to ask a couple of questions. I'll just add him into the stream now. So
sweet. Cool.
Shaz, welcome, dude.
Hello, people. How are we all?
Hey, mate. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, really well. Jay Boston, been a fan for a while, man. Lovely to speak to you. And you, Ben Davies.
Got some nice boards on the wall there.
Oh, Shaz is frozen. Oh, he's back.
He's back. Yep.
Yeah, are we all good, guys?
Yeah,
yep.
We're good.
So if you didn't hear that, guys, all I was saying was lovely to meet you all. Love to meet you all in person. Yeah, just had a couple of questions really for yourself, Jay, if I may.
Oh,
that was perfect time to lose your signal there.
This is the thing with live streaming. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes. Even yesterday, I had the issue with.
Yeah, I saw the end of that. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as the prize was going to be announced, I think it was, and it cut out. You there, Shaz?
I'm good. Yeah, guys, I just changed the internet connection. Apologies. Yeah. So Jay, have you ever thought about setting your own board? And if you haven't, what sort of DIY stuff have you done, if any?
I haven't done much DIY. The only DIY I've really done is swapping out wheels or batteries. That's it. In terms of creating my own board, the guys with a Tramper, they wanted to create a board with us and brand it like the J board or something like that. But I think we decided against it. I don't think I've got enough technical ability or experience or anything like that to do that. I look at, even FabTrav that we're talking about before, or Fabian. He's really gone into the details and he understands how things need to be. I look at as well, like some of the people who have tried to do it recently, you look at the kind of Jedboard kind of guys and you look at some of the DIYs, you look at, there's like hundreds of them that have the same OEM, but they've just put a different grip tape on top of it. I don't want to do that. I'd rather not invest 50 or 100 grand in something that could work. I mean, yeah, having the fan base and everything, or the subscriber base is good, but I just don't think I'd be able to pull it off. I know how hard it is. I know how tough the Evolve guys go into it. You look at how much some of these other board makers have struggled with it, and I just don't think I'd, number one, have the time or would have the patience or be able to do it properly. Makes
sense. For me personally, I just like picking something up and just riding with it. It's easier. You got that support, like with Evolve. You can do better. The other thing I wanted to ask you was a bit of a random one, really. If you were to sell electric skateboarding to somebody, you had 30 seconds to kind of. You're a good ambassador. You've converted many. What would you say to somebody if you had, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds with them in a lift and you want to convert them to e-skating or electric skateboarding? What would you say to them?
So not a skateboard in general, but just the skateboarding as a mode of transport or something like that. Is that
whatever if you want to convert them, like I like to push people on my ideas, and I know that I think you're a sales guy as well. What would you say to somebody?
Right, well, let's say the situation is a lift and I'm in there and I'm holding up this skateboard, right? Which happens a lot. And they'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's an electric skateboard. It can ride 20 Ks on a single charge. All it is a handheld remote that's wireless. I can go anywhere. I don't have to pay for parking. It's environmentally friendly. It costs like 20 cents to charge. It's so cool. I can get around to wherever I want to go. It's easy to move an Uber. Here it is. I'll lift it up for you. Hey, have a go. Oh, yeah, it's pretty light. Yeah, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, where do I get one?" That's the next thing, right? And you're like, "Well, you can buy them online, but there's a shop in Richmond, 12 board store. They'll let you go for a ride on them. Choose the one that you want. Make sure you choose the right one for where you want to ride to. If you live out in the country, I definitely suggest bigger tires or go for the street wheels if you just want to get around the city. And yeah, I'd probably choose something that's not too expensive. If it's something you're not sure about, go under $1,000 mark. This is the one I'd recommend. Probably buy a Stoke or something on eBay or Gumtree or something like that. And if you then want to upgrade and want more range or whatever, then start looking or get into the Facebook communities. There's stacks of us that do it. There's a huge community. We're really positive. There's group rides, that kind of thing. I think I'll be like, "Oh, this sounds pretty sweet." So.
Very good, man. Very good. I'm converted. Very good. Very good. Cool. Well, I was converted anyway, but you've converted anyway. And the last question I had for you, sorry guys, I'm a little bit over, is I'm an off-the-shelf guy, Evolve, Carbon GTR, Bamboo GTR, and I want more power, whatever. But really, for the balance of the money, I'm quite happy with that. are there 2 or 3 things that you would like to see some of the off-the-shelf boards like Evolve and the other ones would do just to upgrade, to make a massive improvement? So what are the next 2 or 3 things that board companies can be doing to do a drastic difference, make a drastic difference to the way these boards perform and are at the moment?
It's an awesome question. Simply because I think they're at a point where you can either upgrade the quality of the batteries or the wheels or the belts. And even yesterday with Ernesto, he said belts are out. They're not going to be doing belts anymore because they wear, they tear, and it's just a problem for them. So I think direct drive, get into that kind of stuff. I think it's going to save a lot of time and money and frustration with people. I think as well, from a security point of view, these things are expensive, right? You're sitting on if it's a LaCroix, there's 2,500 pounds of skateboard just sitting there, especially if you're on a group ride and you're just chilling. If you have a drink somewhere, I think what they should have in them is GPS chips that can connect into your phone or something, so you know exactly where they are. Or they should have some kind of like siren that goes off or an alarm that if it goes between some kind of panic thing, that if it's split from you and it's still turned on, or you've got it on panic mode or something, that it'll start freaking out if you're too far away, or the remote will start to rumble or something. I'm not quite sure, but I think there's a lot of money out on the street with this kind of stuff, and even a lot of skateboard shops are getting busted into and getting these things stolen. You might have seen during the riots as well in America, all of them were smashing through the Apple stores, and Apple was sitting there going, we're tracking every one of those. We're going to kill them. Yeah. They're dead. And that's why Apple don't have a lot of burglaries. So I think that's where we have to say, hey, these things are expensive. Put a GPS chip in it. The GPS chip costs $10. I think that's where people will go, if I'm going to have a board that's that amount of money, I'm going to go with the one that comes off the shelf with security.
Security.
But I think
I like that security GPS.
I think boards, like, you don't want them to be so advanced that you're nervous about riding them. You want to be out, you want to be on the mud, you want to be able to clean them. I think more waterproofing would be probably good. You can just get a high pressure hose and wipe it down at the end of the day would be good. Can't think of anything from a technology point of view, like just obviously remote control connectivity to keep really strong, no interference, no duplicate remote pairing or things like that. One thing would be really good. I know you can do firmware updates, but imagine if you could connect your board into your computer and your support person could run diagnostics from across the world.
Oh, that'd be sweet. That'd be really sweet.
Yeah, and they'd be like, your belt's busted, or we can tell that you've been wearing it out, or we can tell that your left foot is actually pressing harder on the motor than the right foot. You need to balance your feet out, or it'd be something so simple like that.
That would be lovely. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, something like that would be
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jay. That was lovely. Tim, I've got one little question, a really tiny one, and I'll pass on. Do you have a hobby that's anywhere close to electric skateboarding? First of all, I'm assuming electric skateboarding is your favorite hobby. I'm sure that's correct, but you can. Is there anything that's even close to electric skateboarding that you enjoy or would like to do, perhaps?
I don't. I think electric skateboarding is a league of its own.
So I don't think anything's going to get past it.
There's nothing that I'd rather do that, at the end of the day, when you just want to get on your board, pull the trigger, and suddenly like all of your worries and stress is just gone. There's nothing like it. There's nothing else.
I agree.
I enjoy photography and filmmaking, which is why I kind of add that into what I do. But there's nothing for me that comes even close to e-skate scene.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
It's the best fun you can have without someone else.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's amazing. Best 2.5 years of my life, anyway. Gents, I'll let you go. Pleasure to meet you, Jay. Love your stuff. Keep it going. Hopefully, we can meet in person one time, and stay safe.
Cool. I'll be there next year, hopefully.
Cool. Take care, Shaz.
Yep. He's a good guy.
Excellent. Yeah, man, he's a really nice guy. I met him on a big group ride. I think he's riding a Meepo, and we ended up towing him because his battery ran out. And I was like, just have a look at this Evolve, and now he's got like a few Evolves.
Okay, you converted him. Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm just having a quick whiz through some of these comments because there's quite a lot. Oh, there's one from Nelson.
I got a
here.
question for you too. Oh yeah, okay, I'll do mine afterwards. Do you think the future in the electric world, more people buying DIY or firms? I think no matter what, the majority of people are going to be those that don't know electrics or don't have the time to do DIY.
Yeah.
So you're always going to have a big movement with off-the-shelf stuff, with what he's called the firm, I guess. It's interesting though, like you look at what happened to Boosted. They got so big that they needed to fulfill so many different orders. They had so many boards out there in circulation that stores hadn't paid for. They're just like, let's get the boards out there. The whole thing was to increase the brand worldwide, and they were just making boards and shipping them out without getting paid for them. And I think that was the biggest thing for them. So I think, you've just got to be smart. And I can tell, some of the things that Evolve are doing are really good. They make sure they get paid, and that's an important thing for them. I mean, they're not flogging out boards. They're not just giving them out to anybody. I think the last person that did a free board was Sam Sheffer in the States. Yep. They sent it across to him, and he had a real honest review of it. He said some good things, said some bad things about it. But I think even Evolve, like with all this X-Way stuff that happened with them, and they weren't too concerned with it because really their market isn't the community. It is and it isn't. They are embracing the community. They want to be a part of the community, but the sales are actually coming from elsewhere. They're coming from those that are coming into the scene that aren't aware of the community, and then they become part of the community once they have the board. Yep. So I think, they're being smart in trying to determine who these people are, where they come from. It's these white collar workers that want to get to work or want to have, like we said, like this a release of endorphins that only happens on an electric skateboard. So they'll keep supporting, I feel, the community, but they're thinking more strategically elsewhere. And I think that's the only way that a company in this industry is going to survive, is look outside, because we've all got skateboards. The chance of us buying another skateboard is probably very rare to someone that's new to it as well. And because they've got such good, like I know I keep talking about Evolve just because they're local, but they're a good case study too, just because they're still alive after 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah, and really they're the only skateboarding company out there that has got that longevity, that seems to have their stuff in place, that all their staff seem to stay at as well. No one's leaving. And they do have all their internal disputes like any other company, but I think Jeff's just doing it okay now. I've got a question for you though, Tim. How do you how long have you been an Evolve ambassador for now? It's been what, 2 or 3 years?
I think it's probably coming up to about 2 years, I think.
2 years. So I just wanted to understand, did you approach them or did they approach you? And what is the benefit for you being an ambassador?
So originally when I bought my board, I just started making content straight away. So I got to know the UK guys quite well. We joined them on group rides and critical mass and stuff like that. And then I think I was just really lucky with timing, because I had a load of content already out, and then Evolve put out a piece saying we're looking for people to make content. Submit your stuff, and it was like, it was perfect timing. So I'd already sent some of the guys. I think it's like Changer Studios who were running it, outsourced.
Wow, you know those guys?
Yeah.
That's awesome. He used to work with Evolve too on their videos.
Exactly right. So they'd already kind of used some of my content, I think, in some of their stuff. So it was like I just kind of like naturally slid into producing content for them. I just became their ambassador because I organised a lot of the group rides in London. So it's just lucky timing, really.
That's amazing. So what's the benefit you get?
So obviously I got my GTR, which was absolutely fantastic. I got that before it came out, which was quite sweet. I've also got a GTX here as well, which Jeff gave me.
Nice.
Which is super handy, because I was going out trying to introduce people to riding, and people didn't have boards. And I was like, Jeff, can I have a board? And I was going to say, just like, if you've got some like, scratched up, broken bits, whatever, just give me a scuff board and I'll use it as a demo.
Yeah.
And he was like, just go and see Andy tomorrow. And I turned up, and they just handed me a box, like, here you go, brand new board.
Wow.
Like, I like that,
Yeah. Wow,
just like, cool. I want to do this. And he just went, it's done. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah.
That is mad. So you get a couple of boards out of it. I think as well, you're like in the inner sanctum as well. You get some input or feedback on some of the things that they're thinking of bringing out. So there's a couple of things rolling around in your head, I'm sure, that you'll keep to yourself. But I think that's cool. Like you feel part of a brand that is going places, and they give and they give back a bit. And I'm sure you're part of the Evolve referral program too.
Yeah, so it's they've got the referral program where they refer a friend and you can get a discount, which I think is pretty much open to everyone. And I think they're kind of launching the affiliate program.
Yeah.
So at the moment I think it's individual countries. You have to sign up if you're in your own country So I'm just kind of waiting for that to settle down, because it's like you seem to have to be approved by each individual place. So but yeah, I think it's just like another smart move and Evolve, really. They're in the marketing, and yeah.
I think too the e-skating community or e-skating brands really need to start looking at governments. I think the UK is starting to legalize electric personal vehicles, which is awesome, because they don't want as many people obviously on public transport. So people need to get around, and this is a great way to do it. We're trying to do that here in Australia. So I think it's where we can't really separate ourselves into subgroups like electric skateboards, and then electric unicycles, bikes, all that. We really need to just come together and say, look, there's an electric movement, and let's get this legalized. And there's far less accidents on electric vehicles so far than bikes, like just your old push bikes already, even though there's probably less of them. But,
a lot of bike deaths in London. Hell of a lot of bike deaths.
Yeah, the same here in Australia. But hopefully in the next 6 months we get that, and then it's open slather. We can go wherever we want and be respectful, obviously. Yeah.
So on the subject of like the e-skate scene and stuff, so here in London and quite a lot of the EU, the e-skate scene is your like extended family. It's like as soon as you're a part of e-skate. Is it the same as like that in Australia?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll give you two scenarios. Here in Melbourne, when we catch up, we know it's kind of like the old TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Like
exactly. Yeah.
It's like that. And even though there's a lot of people in our Melbourne group that don't contribute or don't want to post online or anything, but they rock up, you know who they are. They're super passionate about what they're doing. There's a couple of DIYers that come along, and they're always coming with brand new boards or enhancements or whatever, and they're more than happy to discuss it. So I'm talking about Liam, who's an e-skate builder here, who I know talks with Lee, and I know all those guys seem to have a nice bond together as well. So there's that nice international community there too. But yeah, everyone goes on a group ride. Everyone understands the basic rules. Don't be an idiot. Go along properly. Hang back if someone's struggling, like that kind of thing. Then in the Sydney group too, got there, and everyone just, they're all fist pumping each other and waiting for each other to turn up, and cruising together, and they all know the spots, and you go for a bit of dinner, and it's just nice. It's just, I don't know. For me, I could have had the worst day. I could have lost a client, or someone's told me that they want to resign or something. But as soon as you get on the board and you're with these guys, like you forget about all that crap. You forget you're like, oh, I just feel like I'm in this whole different world, and everyone's happy and everyone's in the same boat. You just don't talk about what's going on around you. You're talking about what's in front of you, and it's just cool. It's just nice.
How would you compare rides in Australia to when you came to London?
They're very similar. Like when we did the Hyde Park London group ride as well, when we were there, stopping every 5K so the boosted board guys can change out their batteries, and Meepo boards have to charge at some point that we know that there's a plug in the wall, or and everyone's chatting away. And obviously, it was super interesting for me just to hear the different language that was going on, and the different, oh, g'day mate, how you doing? Like, yeah, in the UK, I can't do a UK accent very well, but it's just so, it was just awesome. It was just really, really good. It's so much colder in the UK during the winter. And no, the roads are different. You really have to be on all terrain, I think. Well, I have to be anyway in London because I'm just not used to the streets. But no, it was awesome. Dubai was awesome too. When I was there, you've got to be on street because everything's so smooth over there because it's all fresh concrete. You don't want to be on all terrain. I was over there on an X-Way Riot, X-Way X1 Pro Riot pack, and it was so smooth. And you're on this cool concrete path, and the sun's setting, and all you can see is desert on one side, and the other side it's these huge skyscrapers. And the guys there, they're so accommodating. You should even just do it. Go to I think it's called DXB Facebook group, right, for Eastgate in Dubai. As soon as you like it, it's like, oh, please welcome this guy to the group. He's blah, blah, blah. And everyone makes you feel comfortable, and you can ask questions. And there's like 30, 35 of them. And most of them are expats into Dubai, and they just catch up once a week. They go and get their bubble juice or whatever it's called, and then they're off. So just little things are different, but really the group ride's a lot of fun. It's good fun. Yeah. If you could keep one electric vehicle, what would it be? Oh, now, I reckon give it 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I probably still would say the tramper board that I've got. Thanks very much to the boys there, Ted and all that, for sending that down. It's just, I don't worry about battery or range, or I know I can kick it back a gear and go wherever you want to. I've stacked on it a couple of times. I've been to the physio. I've scratched the crap out of my ass on it, but it's good fun. It's really good fun. The only thing is I might even take the heel straps off it and just have the toe straps, because being able to get out off the board if you're coming off it, I think that's the only thing that makes me nervous about being on that board. Because when you come off, it's attached to you. Your legs can go whichever way, and it's quite scary. But yeah, I love that board. I'd probably just stay with that one, actually. Yeah.
Excellent.
So you finding using the tramp off-road or on the street as well?
Everywhere. So most of the time I've got that in the back of my car. You say the boot or the trunk? What do you guys call it?
Boot.
The boot. Good. Yeah, we call it the boot here too. So that's always in there. I know I can probably take that for 3 group rides and don't have to charge it. The group rides here are about 12, 13 Ks because we like drinking. So that's always in there. Second board, if I'm commuting around the city, probably the one-wheel pint. I love that. It does a head turning. I can cruise along if I need to go to a meeting in the city, and it's easy just to pick up and maneuver, and it's a talking point when you get to the meeting too. Then the client gives that a shot, especially in high heels. I've done that, but not me on high heels, but you've got a client and you're holding their hands and they're trying to balance, and
Brilliant.
It's quite fun. Yeah.
So one of my questions was going to be what's your sort of grab and go board if you have to just go a few miles?
Yeah. Definitely the one wheel.
Okay.
And it's short distance. If it was a longer distance, and I just wanted to be able to maneuver it properly.
That's a nice choice. It's quite compact, and it's pretty good range. And
yeah, it's light. It's a bit awkward to hold, even though it does have the MagSafe handle there. It's just a strange shape. But I would probably the Unlimited X Loaded. Not a lot of people have given that board an opportunity, and it's a kickstart board. It's not one that you can be at the lights and just turn it off. It goes. You have to push it before it'll start. but yeah, once you go in on that, that's a super carvey board. It's been built by skaters in the past, and yeah, I was lucky to have been sent one through a guy that I speak to quite a lot. This guy that has the insight on all the ins and outs of what's happening over in Shenzhen and all the Chinese boards and stuff. He gives us a lot of info there, and he's managed to get one sent to us, and it's awesome. And their support's awesome. The remote control, I wish I had it. It's about that big. It's like super small.
Okay.
It's quite cool. Yeah.
For a quick skim through these community questions, what's the best?
What's your thoughts on full face? Oh, you get them.
Oh, sorry, dude. What's the best board you've tested, and which one has surprised you the most?
Ooh. I mean, I have to give it to X-Way.
Okay.
Even though, yeah, we had all that beef and stuff back then, and it's funny, I thought I was actually doing the right thing by promoting that board, and you know, yes, it was a slip of mine to give it to Maddie, who I thought he was just going for a ride, but decided to put a video out. That was fun, that period of my life. But I think, yeah, when I got on the X-Way X1 Pro, and it had the power, and it was so slimline, and the technology was great, I was like, yeah, wow, this is good. And then they've been so good with the community and keeping them up to date, and responding with an AT board that looks so far pretty cool, and the stats are pretty crazy. 60k range they're expecting, and I'm not sure if that's going to be someone of a standard UK or Australian fella in the 70 to 90k range, but you know, because most of the testing that's done by Asian board makers, you know, you got your 50 60k guy on them doing the testing. I'm just trying to be super careful not to say anything bad there, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what they bring out. I think it'd be pretty cool. Like for me though, X-Way is about that slimline look. It's about the tech. It's about being different. So I'm hoping this AT board is going to be different in some way. And that definitely looks like it. It looks like, I think it was 12S4P that they've gone for as well in the battery config. And I'm just interested to see if the range actually stacks up as well. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully it raises a lot of eyebrows, because we do need that. I think at the moment things have got kind of stale with innovation. You know, you still, like, I'm looking forward to getting I think it's graphene or graphite batteries that are coming out that are like 15 minutes and you've got a charge board, and they last a lot longer and they're more slimline. So I think that's when you'll be like, wow, you can fit so much power into such a small compartment and charge it really quickly. I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think charging is a thing, because now you're having to, like, if you're planning a long group ride, you look for a pub in the middle to stop, you know, while your board's charging, because it takes so long.
And we're all bringing power boards, and you know, we're busting the fuses at some of these places that we go, and got to be careful with that.
What are your thoughts on a full face helmets compared to just like a normal lid?
Yeah, okay. So I would say most of the time I'm using a helmet just like this, you know, like a Burn helmet, or the 1000 helmet that Evolve had before. I don't know why they don't stock them anymore, but they were really good. But the full face, like, I've seen a lot of injuries with full face. And unfortunately as well with the rear rocker ones as well, I've seen some of them where the way that they build them, that if you get hit right in the face, this point here can really bust up your nose, like a lot. I've seen people break their nose because that part of it, if they've been hit in the chin, has gone straight into their nose. So I'm a little bit cautious. Like when I was in the UK, that's the only helmet I took that everywhere. And actually it was the other one. It was the green one. I find that if you get, like, the only reason I wore that over there was because I was in a foreign country. I didn't understand if I got really busted up, if I had to pay thousands of pounds to be in a hospital, or I had insurance and everything, but I had no idea. So I wanted to try and protect myself as much as possible. And it did protect me. It did help me. Most of the time, I don't actually wear the front guard because naturally when you're riding as well, if you do come off, the number one thing that your brain kind of protects is your face. So like hitting the back of it, these things are really good. And so, yeah, I tend to wear those if I know I'm going to be an idiot, or I just wear your normal hats if I'm just going to be going for a group ride, because you want to be able to talk to people and take your glasses off and things like that pretty quickly.
Talking about group rides, what's the biggest one that you think you've been on?
New York. That was just massive. So that was like 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, they had this group ride from the top of Manhattan to the very bottom, and that was 110 streets, like going diagonal. We went all the way down the Western Freeway, got down to the new Memorial Tower that's there. I can't remember what it's called, but that was just crazy. And they go fast. They were going at least 30, 35 Ks full, like the whole way. So I'm not sure what that is in miles. I could probably look it up. Hang on. 35. 21 miles. They were going.
Okay.
It was fast, and they had a good mix of different boards. And they had, I would say, like 30% females who were going along there as well, which was awesome. But that would have been 110, 120 people. So we started at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it got dark, and we went to like a slow cooked barbecue place and drinking beers and things. And then things just got real crazy. So for them, right, because there's so many people, they have what they call captains, which is really cool. So they've got a captain at the front, captain in the middle, captain at the end, just making sure everyone's organized. And some of the boards that were there, one board had a truck horn underneath it. So you can imagine the noise coming off that thing was crazy. Some of them had like police sirens. They all had whistles, like just making noise. And it wasn't to be disruptive. It was more to be safe, because there was so many of it. Where I can't remember what the term that they use, but we're all like at 10 o'clock at night in like the industrial parts of Lower Manhattan, where all the like UPS and all that kind of stuff are. It's dead. It's really quiet. And they're banging down these streets, and we're taking over the entire street, and lights are going everywhere. Sirens are going, truck horns are going. Like it's just, it's bedlam. But the captains too, what they do is they've got these lights and they stop traffic, right? So they'll stop in the middle of an intersection and be doing this, right? And they're letting people through, and the lights are red, but we're just still going through. It's the most amazing experience I think I've ever had on a skateboard. I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, we're taking over streets, and like the police go past. They don't care. They're like, oh yeah, they're just being safe, so they must know what's going on. And I just have to get back there. It was amazing. And that was my first what the hell moment was in New York. I'm on a borrowed boosted board from Tom Pagoo. I think it's Tom Pagoo or whatever. He's the main guy from New York e-boarders. And I'm there, and I'm at the lights, and I'm on my phone, and I look over, and this guy on a bike rocks up, and he goes, "Are you Jay Boston?" And I'm like, "No way!" It was just mental. I was just like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I didn't have a camera going or anything, or else, I wish I'd captured that, but it was just one of those moments.
3 years ago, so imagine what it's like now.
Yeah, it was just on the other side of the world. And yeah, you do get approached every so often. So if I'm in the middle of Melbourne and I'm going down, Swanston Street is the one that only trams can go down. And if you skateboard in along there, 9 times out of 10, because I've got two offices for where I work. So there's one which is in South Melbourne. There's another one that's in QV, which is 5 Ks between. And I'm going down this street. 9 times out of 10, you'll hear, "Hey, Jay Boston," and you're like, "No way, I'm gonna keep going." So yeah, that's quite cool. That stuff kind of happens now too. Yeah, there you go.
How long did it take you to get used to that? Was that quite weird at first when people started recognizing you?
It is, like, especially if you're out with your wife, and you've got your skateboard, strapped on the pram or whatever, and you're going along with your 2-year-old son, for instance, and this guy comes up, "Oh, can I get a photo?" And you're like, it could be a 17-year-old kid, and you're like, "Yeah, sure." And the wife's like, "What the hell?" And that's when she's like, "Oh, okay." Like, people actually watch you, It's not just that you're spending time out in your garage or going off for group rides or something like that. So yeah, that was her realization that, you know, you've got a little bit of it's not a massive fan base at all. It's just, you know, some people appreciate what you do, and I appreciate that they have the balls to come up and ask and stuff. So it's quite cool.
I had a really weird one on the tube where this guy's like keeps looking at me like really weird. I'm like,
yeah, you're like, oh, I know
maybe just a crazy guy, and he's like, do I watch your YouTube videos? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, stranger someone recognizes you, and you're just like,
you can tell they look at you, and they, you know, the eyebrows are going, like,
yeah, it's like,
yes, especially your eyebrows, Tim. They're amazing.
I think it's like Groucho Marx.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's funny being spotted, and you can tell that someone's noticed you, or, you know, you're figuring things out, especially if you do stop and you've got the board there and they look at you and then they're like, he's got a camera. Yeah, that's got to be him. And they come up and ask questions and stuff. It's quite cool.
Ben, do you want to? Sorry, jump in. I'm hugging the string.
No, sure. Just having a look. What would you say outside of Paris? What's your favorite like e-skate community? Like ignoring the New York thing as well. Like, what is your actual like favorite one?
My favorite community that I've been on a group ride with.
Excluding Paris.
Excluding Paris. Yeah, Paris was pretty good, but so okay, so I've done Paris, UK, New York, Dubai. We didn't do too much. It's going to be weird, but the Trample Boys.
Like in, I was going to say Nottingham. What were the woods like?
Yeah, going on that 3-day craziness of the Tramper Boys that we did in Wales was amazing. Like I honestly, I was a bit of a granddad when I went along, because I felt like I had to be kind of working with them. They paid for my flights, they paid for accommodation, all the food. And to me, like, I wanted to be respectful and say to Ted, like, Ted, he loves his honey, what's it called again? His honey, it's not bourbon, it's something along those lines. It's like Jack Daniels. He loves honey Jack Daniels, right? And he was smashing that stuff at like from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon while we were away. And he was snoring on the couch by 7 o'clock at night. And Frank was there, and Frank's tinkering away, trying to make the boards better for the next day. And like the boys, we'd been out in the rain, and he's like got all the remote controls hanging right next to the heater to, you know, dry them out and stuff for the next day. So he's working, and then because the boys are such a close-knit community, they're out in the other room and they're listening to Venga Boys, and they're just like laughing their asses off, and, you know, Spice Girls and all this. It was just so much fun, right? And the guys were so accommodating and so welcoming that we'd be out on the boards maybe 2 hours a day. It wasn't much, but the guys are so close, and they're all, the amount of beer that was being consumed, it was just phenomenal. Like,
guys are pretty crazy. Yeah.
I just couldn't keep up. So, you know, it'd get to 8:30 at night, and I'm downloading the footage, and I'm just making sure I've got it before I wipe the SD cards. And, you know, and Eamon was very similar to me. You know, he made sure that he was doing the job, and I felt like, because Eamon was getting obviously paid to do what he does and to put the filming on, that I really should be like him. Like, you know, we need to get our sleep, we need to be focused the next day, all that kind of stuff. And they were letting off fireworks and all that next to my bedroom, and I didn't even know it. I slept through it because I was so zonked. Drinking and riding and keeping up with the guys and eating all this just crazy food. Like, we were putting together these massive bowls of spaghetti and just Ted knows how to cook. And it was funny. Like, even though you're there for skateboarding, there was so much more that was experienced outside of that. And just didn't have to worry about even charging boards. They had that figured out. Like, that, it was just like a well-oiled machine, how they do that kind of stuff. So the plan is next year to go back to Cornwall, and there's a big thing that they're trying to do next year. And from what I experienced last year, there might be the ability for those that have got trampers or don't have them, to come along and experience that community too. So it's that was just amazing. It was just so good, and people slept in, and I should have seen we had this massive place in Wales. It was insane. And in the morning, man, it took us like an hour and a half just to clean up the place from the night before. And I didn't, the guys, there was an outhouse that had a spa in it, and it took up the exact measurements of this outhouse. There was no sides. It was just walls, right? And you go in there and you'll have a look at the state of that water in the morning. My God, it was just putrid. And all of them are in there. They're butt naked. They're all having fun, and they're all pulling each other, like, not in a bad way. Like, but just, you know, there was just so much. It was so messy that it was cool. It's just an amazing group. Like, they're on another level. And I don't think you need to have a tramper to be a part of it. I mean, yeah. Lee Wright, who was on the group too, he had a deck that wasn't a tramper deck, and he was getting beef all for that weekend. And but that's to be said. If you're on a tramper group ride or an experience, that, you know, people are going to give you a bit of crap, and they were giving me crap because I couldn't keep up and all that. So I couldn't do jumps. You know, I'd never been on a tramper board before, but it wasn't in a bad way. It was quite cool. But you got to, I think, for those that are maybe watching and they're wondering, like, oh, should I go on a group ride, or, you know, should I put myself out there, or I feel like I'm going to get hurt? Just do it, because it's the what you get out of it is so much better than maybe just falling off and hurting your elbow, or even breaking a bone. I'd say would be worth it, because
definitely
they're just memories for life. Like, you're just going to look back and go, I'm so glad that I did that. And like, for me, even leaving my family, and I had a bit of a teary on the way to the airport, knowing that I'd be leaving them for 12 days, which isn't long, but not being there for certain things. But yeah, as soon as I got there, I was like, yes, I'm in the right group. And we went off for English pies and stuff as soon as we got there, and went to the oldest English pub in the UK. And you know, there was this ring toss game, I think you might know it, where, you know, the ring's on a wire and you have to hit the hook. And it was, even, I'll tell you this quick story. There was this moment where we were at this pub and we were just drinking beers, chug, 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 chug. And this guy was inebriated. This old guy, he had ratty grey hair. He's over like this. And we gave him a beer. And he's like, I bet you can give me another beer if I get that ring toss. And we're like, there's no way he's going to do it, right? So we go in, and there's people. This pub is pretty cramped, right? And the pub's quite busy. And all these people are sitting around, and this ring toss would be 5 meters, you know, and he's holding it, and there's people around. If you got it wrong, it's going to hit people in the head. And he's like, yeah. So we're like, he's not going to do it. Anyway, he didn't even look. He just went, and he got it. And I'm like, what? And then we tried it. We couldn't do it. So we'd obviously played that game with a lot of people at that pub. But just those little moments that might not be e-skate related are just incredible too, that are related to it, if you know what I mean. Like, they happen because you're in that group. Yeah. Sorry, I can talk forever. My bad.
No, it's fine. So someone sent the question, because I remember when I saw you had 38 boards, and someone's asked, what was the most e-skate boards you have owned at one time?
I think it's 38. Like, I've started to give away some of the boards. I hate seeing, like, let's see if I can swap out this camera again, because we were doing it before. There we go. So you can see a bunch of boards down there. There's a whole, what do we got here? There's AE boards. What's that one there? There's a couple of slimline boards. All of them have got their remotes like hanging off them. I just hate seeing them sitting there and not doing anything. So yeah, like, I just want to put them in the hands of people that may not have the money to do it initially, or they're skeptical whether or not they'll ride. I mean, I take these boards out, or I loan them out to people if they're not quite sure. I'd say there's probably 5 or 6 boards that are out there that I've given to friends. A lot of them EPO boards, I've been able just to hand them off. And some of the guys, they park 2 or 3 Ks away from where their office is, just so they can have all day parking, and they ride in.
Yeah.
They love that. But yeah, I mean, these boards, they all work. They're all good. Some of them have got, crappy batteries or whatever in them, but they work. And if someone can get on one and have an experience and say, yes, this is what I want to do, then they can buy their own and off we go. So I'd say there's probably 20, 24 boards in here at the moment.
Wow.
Something like that.
Basically.
And I wish maybe I can probably tilt the camera. Hang on. Let's see. So there's a couple there. So we got the backfire, the Lycian, I think it's called. And then there's more over there. There's the AE board. There's a secret board in there, which I can't talk about too much just yet. And then you've got underneath the desk over there, you got the Tramper, the Baja board over there. Yeah. And then behind me, I'll see if I can get this situated again. Behind me is over here. Oh, and I'll show you over here. There's all these little IKEA. We're speaking about IKEA because we've both got the same bookshelf behind us, me and Ben. I've got each box has got a name on it, so that's the Backfire GT, and then inside it is the charger, the remote, stickers or whatever came with the board, so I know what all that is. So it's pretty organized in here.
Excellent.
And then behind this IKEA bookshelf is charging station, repairs, all the spare belts, all that kind of stuff is in there. And then just spare camera gear, whole like pencil case, GoPro stuff, little like Nintendo consoles, spare like gloves, protective wear, that kind of thing. So it takes a bit of time just to get all this organized and prepped and working the way that you want, but it's it's a lot of fun.
Little man cave.
Yeah, but all the desk space. I'll see if I can show you that. There we go. So over there.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So there's all you can see underneath there. The wife's got all her stuff on the other side of that desk. So that's all the kiddie toys and things over there. But then you've got shelving units with all the cabling, extension cords, those monitors as well. Like I can just click in my laptop into that and do the editing. There's the good old Red Bull fridge. Funny with Red Bull too. If you ever want to just do anything with Red Bull, it was pretty straightforward for Red Bull Australia. I just messaged them on Facebook and said, "Hey, I've got a YouTube channel. I just wanted to see if you wanted me to, use. I just wanted some cans of Red Bull." And they sent me the fridge and said, "Oh, if you can just put that in a couple of shots, that's all you need to do." I'm like, "Oh, sweet." So I just got a Red Bull fridge delivered, and they loaded up with a slab of the tropical edition Red Bulls, and that was pretty good. Oh, I can feel my heart pumping now because of that. I don't have a lot of caffeine because I get anxiety attacks a lot of the time. But no, it's good fun. And look, this has taken 3 or 4 years to set up properly, and even okay, I'll show you some more stuff. There we go. Even over here, tons of cables and GoPros, and hang on, try and I won't be able to focus that much, but all that stuff in there. And then you've got more and more stuff, like you've got all the T-tools and spare blades for the drone and that kind of stuff. So it's all pretty organized in here. And I think you have to be. Oh, I've lost the autofocus. Is that better?
Nice one. Yeah, that's better. Cool. Dude, we've hit an hour. I didn't want to keep you too long because I know it's like 7 o'clock in the morning there on a Monday.
That's right.
Work.
Yep.
Is there anything you want to kind of shout out, promote, mention?
No, it's been an absolute joy. I loved catching up with B-Boy Stretch, Kevin Dark, all those guys that are a part of your community. Lee, we went for a night ride in London when I got there with Eamon, and it was just super cool. I think the boys even picked up the tab, which was awesome. I think, we had some pizzas or something nearby. And you came along, Tim. You just came along as well. You didn't come for the ride, but you came along to say g'day, so I appreciate that. And I love the community. These kind of things, it just shows that we're all very similar people, and we're all just wanting to ride, have a good time, promote I guess you could call it a sport, but promote electric skateboarding as a way.
Oh, I think we might have just lost Joe there. I'll chuck his Instagram up for a second. Jay Boston YouTuber has a Facebook page as well. And obviously you know him from YouTube.
We're back.
Happening.
He's back. He's back.
You know why? I know exactly why. It's 7:05, which means the missus has turned on the TV and started watching internet stuff with the kids. But yeah, I've just switched to mobile internet.
Okay.
But as I was saying, yeah, I think the sport is fantastic. We're all very similar kind of people wanting to promote the sport, wanting to, you know, just have fun, really. That's all it comes down to. I can need a haircut.
I don't.
How often do you shave your noggin?
Every 2 days. It's a real pain.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's more hard work, but, you know.
It probably is, actually.
Yeah.
If you let it go, do you just only have this bit around here that grows?
Michael Ironside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like that guy. Have you seen, do you remember Barbie Girl by Aqua?
Yeah.
Go back. I didn't realize it when I watched it, but the kids are watching it now, right? I don't know why. But Ken, or whatever his name is in it, he's got this thin 1 centimeter line of bushy hair that goes all the way around his head. It's disgusting. I'm not saying you are, mate, at all. Yeah, and Thomas B-Boy Stretch, he's cool. We're having a good chat with me just privately, and we talk about all kinds of things. So it's quite cool.
Cool. Nelson, Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. I hope all's well
man.
with you. I hope you feel better soon.
Cool. Right. I'll call it here so you can get on with your Monday morning live.
Yeah, I might go to work and go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, dude. Really appreciate it. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, cool. We'll stay in touch.
Certainly will.
Yes.
Take care, dude. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Cheers.